How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over my League starter tier list for Torchlight Arcana Special Season 7. These are the builds that I think are going to have the best start, right? I'm talking about getting yourself into like early tier 8 or just straight into tier 7 quickly without much of an issue and an ability to farm. This is not a list of what is going to be the best builds in the game at like the end of week 1 and like the first builds to be doing deep space or anything like that. It's entirely different. And typically the builds that you see that are further down on this tier list have the best chance at actually being the builds that are going to be able to perform that well and to be able to scale that well on the least amount of money. So first things first, let's go over some of the ones here in S tier that I haven't made a video for or that I won't make a video for before League actually starts. And the first one here is going to be Iris. With the new spirits that are coming out, the likelihood of her being extremely strong is going to be very high. Lightning Spirit, if you see, there's videos out there of people leveling through the campaign in about an hour on Iris. Lightning Spirit did get nerfed a little bit, but the rest of the spirits that are coming, they're not getting any changes, or there's going to be some new spirits to play with that are most likely going to be able to make up for what's lost from Thunder Spirit. And there's going to be something that's going to be good and worth playing. There's a lot of new stuff with the Kismets as well that should really help with that. The next one here is the new Iris 2 Vigilant Breeze. Same thing. They did actually even do some stealth kind of buffs to her since they posted the patch notes. If you actually look here in the patch notes, they actually made some little adjustments here since the video that we went over, where she's now getting 15% additional damage per stack of breeze instead of 10. And then she is also getting a nice damage reduction buff here while she is in this final Nurturing Breeze state. They did end up merging stream a little bit because of that, so gonna have to kind of see where that is. Yeah, what that changes, but realistically we were going to end up having to run Nurturing Breeze anyways, just to be able to run the form where we are permanently spamming our ultimate. You can see Happiest Reunion is actually in here as well, which does now offer +1 spirit as well for while you're leveling in those early stages before you get to level 75, so that will help push this through into maps quickly and push you up into level 75. The next up here we have Youga, Youga Chain Lightning, and this build is again incredibly strong. I already made a video in regards to this. You level this again, Youga, with Ice Lances. You do the same leveling that I basically use with Frostbite and Gemma 2, and that's pretty much to just you level with Ice Lances. You start on the Spellcaster tree, you go right into Arcanist, and then you take Magister afterwards, and that pretty much carries you through that early game, and then you eventually end up making the swap over to Chain Lightning as you start to get some extra sources of jump, and as you start to get a little bit gear in the later game. Next thing up, we have Youga 2 here. Youga 2 is there was basically no changes to his actual kit itself, but the skill Mind Control was given a nice buff to allow it to scale. So we have this here. We lost a little bit of base damage here, but we do get a massive multiplier here based off of our additional channel stacks. What this means is that as soon as we get up to 2 max channel stacks, that is the break-even point for the damage from last league, and everything above that is just pure upside. Along with this, with the new changes to pack spirits, we are able to run 3 affliction pets at all times, or 3 affliction pack spirits at all times, which is incredibly powerful and helps push the character up to something that is going to continue to level really, really fast and have a really smooth leveling experience. Affliction Effect is a basic mod to craft on gear, so it's very, very cheap to craft it and to get it on gear and everything, so you can really get your affliction gear going really, really quickly. Next up here, we do have Rayhan 1, or Anger Rayhan. This was buffed in the patch notes the burst build on him is basically being pushed even harder, along with the changes to steep strikes and other things. The burst damage on this is just going to be really good. You're going to be playing this with Savage Charge still, and extra bonus, you have the new skin if you want to play that. If you want to play female Rayhan, you can do that. So that should be quite a bit of good fun. It'll be a build that I will probably end up playing at some point. I'm just not going to be starting on it. That basically covers it for what I think are S tier builds. A tier builds are still going to level extremely well. There's likelihoods that they may even outperform some of the builds that I have on S tier, but I'm going based off of what I know and what I've basically heard from other people, and yeah, and my experiences playing these basically. So we have Erica Lightning Shadow, aka Erica 2, and Erica 1. They're both pretty much in the same bucket, where they are going to be basically pretty good. There was some buffs to the attack range of the Phantoms that is going to help with Erica 2. And she was buffed a bit. If you look on Bilibili, you're going to see a lot of people that are going to be playing Erica 2 to start with. Playing Thunder Spike, the build was already pretty strong last league. And with the extra buffs to some stuff for melee, she's just going to have a really, really good time. Early on with Thunder Spike, the only thing that I would say with this build, if you are going to play it, your only option playing her is basically Thunder Spike. There is like an ability to swap to Chain Lightning at some point, but it's like deeper into the gearing. So, you know, be aware that if you're going to play her, you pretty much get stuck with one skill and one skill only. So next up, we have Gemma 3, aka Gemma Flames of Pleasure. She still has a very smooth leveling with Hammer of Ash that basically was unchanged. All the projectiles on that still shotgun, and you do have a very smooth leveling experience on her. The Ignite stuff was nerfed, as I covered in my video, but testing it, the damage is still more than plenty to get yourself into tier 8 with a very low amount of money, so that you can actually get yourself farming. And there is some new potential with the new Bombard support skill that came out in order to transition her out of the standard Ground Shaker Ignite into an Ignite skill using that new Bombard skill or something else. So, or just playing just like a hit fire damage version of that, or something with arrow sentries. There's a lot of different avenues you can take her. So I'm confident she's going to be able to find a build that's going to be able to excel further into like profound and deep space and such. Next up, we have Gemma 2, aka Frostbitten Gemma. Her kit was actually buffed as well. She did get some nice buffs on her multipliers. Pretty much the damage that was removed from the Frostbitten trait in the Arcanist tree was just moved into her kit. So she is not feeling any of the impacts of those nerfs at all. She's just feeling the same damage losses that all the other casters are getting, with the loss to some spell levels in their weapons. But with Kismet and with the ability to, again, have battle pets on at all times, this damage difference is going to basically be mitigated. So you are still going to be able to level this on Ice Lances and then play it as Frost Terra if you want to. Or the other options that you really have with it are to play with the new Moonstrike setup with the new supports, which are going to be scaling off of Intelligence and Mana. So those are going to be some other scaling options you can have to do some amazing things on her. Next up, we have Erica 1. She's very focused on multi-strikes. The multi-strike and steep strike interactions based off of the new kind of changes that they've made for melee are putting her in a really prime position to perform really well. She levels very quickly because she moves very fast, and everything is about scaling as much movement speed as possible, so you're not typically ever having a bad time with that. You can use her. She's going to farm very, very quickly and be able to earn you a lot of money, and then be able to scale herself into a nice build, and they're pushing stat stacking as well. So those are the two things that she's really leaning into, and she's going to be set up well for that. We have Rayhan 2 here, which they are doing some nice significant buffs for, with as the buffs we talked about, again, in regards to the ability to the melee buffs or the melee changes they're making, along with the fact that they made it to where you can get into the permanent backpack mode on Rayhan, earlier now at level 45 instead of level 60. This does mean that, again, you're getting into this form here much earlier than you used to, which does allow you to basically get into your final form for the character much earlier. So this should, again, help with leveling experience and help push him basically up towards this A tier here, and he should be able to perform quite well. Next up, we have the B tier classes. Selena, you know, she's going to still be pretty solid from last league, but I don't think she's going to be the front runner. They've made quite a few nerfs to the outlier builds for her, but she's still going to be really solid. Bing, I don't know the exact build for him yet, but realistically, just even with the changes to the bombs, just leveling him as just a standard like bomb projectile skill build is still going to work. You can't use him for sentries anymore, but there's going to be a build that's going to deal plenty of damage on him still, but I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to personally rate him higher than B because I don't know what the build is. I haven't tested it. So there's the potential that he's rated much higher, as there is with any of these characters that are on this list. But because I haven't played him, this is kind of where I think he's going to basically end up being for starters, because I don't see a route for him to be higher at this point without having tested him. Next up, we have Carino 2. He still does have the shotgunning built into his kit, but they have basically nerfed the easy sources of getting the unlimited ammo on him. And the old version of the build already required a significant amount of money because you did either need an activation medium rhythm or an activation medium burst, both of which are expensive. So he doesn't necessarily make the best starter because it's hard to get him off the ground without having money first. So because of that, he's rated lower than other things. Next up, we have both the Motos here in C tier. Moto itself just is performing worse than Iris. Same with Moto 2. He is being completely reworked. Last league, the character was broken to the point where it was completely unplayable. There's a chance that it's completely broken and it's S tier now. I'm not taking that risk. I'm not recommending anyone else take that risk. Same with basically all these characters in C and F tier. That's pretty much where it's at. Same with Gemma 1. She's just inferior to Gemma 2 and Gemma 3. She's just worse at both of them, and in a game where it's free, everything's free to play, just play Gemma 2 or Gemma 3. They're both better at specializing in one thing or the other, and Gemma 1 just doesn't really have a solid place yet. Same with Rosa. They are saying they're building out trauma, but I'll believe it when I see it. I wouldn't recommend it still to anyone because I haven't seen anyone do anything crazy on it. I haven't seen anyone even talking about doing anything crazy on it, so until then, I think they're just at the bottom. Same thing goes with Carino 1. He isn't flashy. He can't do anything special. So shy away. You know, I'm sure there's something you can do with money, but on a league starter, there's better things you can start with. Both Theas, these are basically characters that are built around stacking blessings and doing great things with them. And they have been removing more and more sources of stacking blessings. They've nerfed these characters over and over and over again in regards to their multipliers. At this point, they're just left behind. They really need a rework. Same thing with Carino 3 here. He already had a clunky leveling, even the league that he came out. And it's just gotten worse since the nerfs. So he doesn't do anything special, and he's kind of in that same rework territory. So yeah, I'm kind of curious where you guys feel you guys have characters in your tier lists, because I have a feeling you guys probably have your own opinions about this, and you guys are going to ream me for what I think about it. But let me know if you guys think that I missed something, or that I should have been ranking something higher, or that I have something ranked way too high. I'd like to hear it, and I'm sure other people would as well. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And other than that, I'll see you on stream tonight at 6 p.m.